The Godless Punch. Part 2. The Grin That Never Fades. I should have walked away after Calderon broke me. Should have let the loss stand as proof I was human, nothing more. But once you've tasted that power, once you've felt it flood your veins like black fire, you can't forget it. It's not a memory. It's a hunger. So I went looking for it. At first I tried to summon it the way you'd flex a muscle. Grunting, shadowboxing, hitting the heavy bag till my knuckles bled. Nothing. The power stayed hidden, a ghost laughing at me from the corners. Then I turned inward. Meditation. Hours in the dark, cross-legged on a cracked floor, breathing till the world dissolved. I pushed myself into silence so deep I could hear blood whispering through my veins. That's when it started. Visions. Shapes without form. Cities without time. Realms that bent and twisted like smoke. In those places I felt the coil again, the door creaking open, and little by little I learned to hold it longer, to drag it back with me. The proof came under the lights. 2 fights, 2 men, better men, faster, sharper, stronger. They never stood a chance. I barely broke a sweat. One went down in the second, gasping for air like a drowning man. The other quit on his stool after the fourth, eyes wide with something worse than fear. They said it was my timing, my technique, my conditioning. They didn't know I was carrying something from another dimension inside my fists. The streak gave me what I wanted most, a rematch with Calderon, the only man who'd beaten me, the only man who made me feel mortal again. The dream came 2 nights before the fight. I was floating in a place with no sky, no ground, just endless gray. And there was something there with me, a spirit, or maybe the absence of one. It didn't speak words, not exactly. It hummed in my bones, rattled in my teeth. Images swirled, a fist, a flame, a river, a mountain splitting in 2. I knew, without knowing, that this was the key, the path to supreme control. But when I woke, it slipped away, like trying to clutch smoke. I clawed at my memory, but all I had were fragments, and an itch deep inside that told me it would come when it was meant to. Fight night again. Madison Square Garden, same smoke, same lights, same roar. Calderon looked older now, more scar tissue on his brows, more lines around his eyes. But the fire in him was the same. He had 2 arms this time, and he meant to use them. The bell rang, and we went to war. It wasn't like the first fight, no chess, no patience. He came at me with a fury that nearly folded me in the first round. I slipped, blocked, clinched. The power didn't answer when I called. My fists were only fists. The rounds blurred together. He cut me in the 5th, dropped me in the 7th. I rallied in the 9th, clipped him with a hook that made him stumble, but he fired back twice as hard. By the 11th, we were 2 men drenched in blood and sweat, trading shots like each punch might be the last. And then, like a match struck in the dark, it came back to me. The dream, the hum of the spirit, the images lined up in my head. Fist, flame, river, mountain. I understood. I drew the power in, coiled it tight, breathed it into my bones. Time slowed. The crowd's roar dimmed. Calderon's face loomed in front of me, tired but still proud, still unbroken. I threw the punch. It wasn't human. It wasn't mine. It was 2 forces colliding in one. My body and something beyond it, married in a single violent strike. My fist crashed against his jaw, and the sound was not glove meeting flesh. It was thunder. It was steel shattering. Calderon jolted like a man hit by lightning, his whole body spasming grotesquely. He froze mid-motion, then fell forward, face first into the canvas. The bell rang as he hit the ground, round over. The referee rolled him onto his back. That's when I saw it. His mouth. His mouth was twisted into a grin. A wide, frozen, sickening grin that didn't belong to the man I knew. Not joy, not pain. Something else. Something other. The crowd shrieked, half in awe, half in horror. Me? I screamed in triumph. I ran to the ropes, climbed, arms raised, shouting that I'd done it, that I was champion, that I had mastered the power. The doctor ran in. Trainers, paramedics. They swarmed Calderon's body. Minutes passed, the crowd's roar turning to murmurs, then silence. And then the announcement cut through the air like a blade. Rafael Calderon is dead. The grin never left his face. They pulled me away from the ring, stripped the gloves off my hands, whispered about manslaughter charges, about investigations, about how boxing was never meant to witness something like this. I didn't care. Not then. My ears still rang with the phantom hum of the spirit. I'd done it. I'd proven it. But that night, when the adrenaline faded and the silence closed in, I saw the grin again. Every time I closed my eyes, it was waiting for me. Wide, twisted, eternal. I gave up boxing the next day. Walked away from the belt, from the money, from the spotlight. The promoters called me crazy. The papers called me a coward. The fans called me a murderer. They were all right. Now I sit alone in rooms that reek of whiskey and sweat, staring at my hands. I still meditate sometimes, trying to touch that place again, but the spirit doesn't answer. It left me the same night Calderon did. All it left behind was the memory of power and the grin of a dead man. And that grin, God help me, it will haunt me until the day I die.